Hey guys, welcome back to my channel and welcome to episode 2 of the Wedding Week series. Today's going to be a chatty skincare routine, and it's the skincare routine that I would do on the wedding day. And we're also going to be talking about planning a Corona wedding. Planning a wedding during a global pandemic. As you guys know, planning a wedding is already stressful enough as it is without a pandemic, so just imagine how much more intense it is with that as a factor. I asked you guys to send in your questions on IG stories, and so I'm going to be looking at those questions throughout the video as well. I just woke up, so I look really tired, but I wanted to give you guys like an accurate representation of what I would look like when I wake up on my wedding day. I'm gonna be super tired, so let's fix this situation up and let's jump right into the video. Before I even do anything, I am going to do a mask. This one is the Summer Fridays Overtime Mask. Normally I like to use this in the fall and winter because it has like a cinnamony scent that reminds me of those seasons, but I like it year-round too because it really is one of my favorite masks. Let's start masking. So there were 3 questions that were pretty similar, so I'll address all 3 at the same time because it's pretty much asking the same thing. The first is, how can you keep calm, especially planning your wedding during the pandemic? The second is, how stressful was it? And how did you feel about not everyone getting to attend it? And then the third one was, how to cope. We're getting married this October and I'm panicking. First of all, congratulations on your October wedding. I feel like these 3 questions are pretty much asking like how to manage your anxiety as you're wedding planning during a pandemic. When Corona first hit and everything was shutting down, I honestly didn't really stress in the beginning because I thought that, oh, well, we have a July wedding, that's pretty later in the year, so we should figure it out by then. We didn't figure it out. Since our wedding was in July, a little bit later in the year, it was kind of hard for me to do anything at that time. I couldn't really postpone yet because all of my vendors told me that they wanted to wait and see. And so that's exactly what I did. And every day I had to tell myself that, you know what? There's literally nothing I could do right now. I think to manage your anxiety, you have to accept that it's out of your control. And a global pandemic is not in your control. I think sometimes people get really wrapped up in planning a wedding that we forget that it's not about the wedding, it's about marrying the person that you love and spending forever with each other. That was one of the biggest things that helped me cope with the anxieties of planning a Corona wedding. When quarantine started, we were together 24/7, so I felt like we really took advantage of that, spent quality time together, and just really put a lot of energy towards our soon-to-be marriage instead of to our wedding. So don't panic. The wedding's gonna happen one way or another. It might not look like what it looked like in your mind, but it's gonna happen. While I have the face mask on, I'm also gonna put on some eye masks. Alright, my mask is all done, so I'm gonna go wash my face really quick. Be right back. Okay, so I washed my face. Oh my gosh, what a difference that made. My skin is already so much softer and brighter. I'm gonna go in with some toner. Glow Recipe Watermelon Glow Ultra Fine Mist, one of my favorite toners. This is my second bottle. So just give myself a spritz. While this is setting, I'm going to answer another question. Realistically, do you think paper invitations are worth spending money on? I think it's up to you, and I think it's up to your budget and what it currently looks like. If there's absolutely no room in your budget for paper invitations, then I would say that's the one thing you could definitely cut back on, because in this day and age, you could easily send out an evite, and in my personal opinion, I just think that digital invitations are so much more convenient because people can just RSVP online and you can have a tracking sheet to see who is going or not. Kay and I are doing paper invitations, but if we were to go back and if there wasn't room in the budget for it, my idea would be do the evites, make everything online. Also saves paper too, by the way. And then just print out like a set of invitations and make it the way that you want to make it, just so you can have photos of it on your wedding day and it can be one of the detail shots. So that's one way to save money. Just make a set, a really nice set. You can even make like an acrylic invitation and just keep that to yourself as a keepsake rather than sending it out to everybody. My toner has dried. I'm going to go in with a serum. This is the La Mer Regenerating Serum. We're whipping out the bougie stuff for the wedding. The next question I got is, have you had to deal with any drama related to your bridesmaids? There was. Huh?
Can I kiss you?
No, I have skincare on.
I love you, wifey.
This is expensive skincare.
Love you.
Love you.
I'm so happy. Okay, bye.
Bye. I'm gonna try to answer this question seriously. I don't want this to turn into like a tea video or anything. There was drama. Unfortunately, I lost 2 friends during the wedding planning process. 2 of my former bridesmaids are no longer my friends. I don't want to get into it because this video is going to be like an hour long. Looking back on it, I don't regret anything just because I feel like I learned a lot out of it. So what I learned from wedding planning is that it can really impact your real life relationships, whether it's your family, your in-laws, or your friends. Weddings have a way of bringing out the worst in people, and it has a way of stirring up conflicts or underlying issues. You kind of have to be mentally and emotionally prepared for these things. I was not, but I had a really good support system through the rest of the wedding party and also in Kang, and so everyone was really supportive when the drama was happening. I will say it happened for the best. I'm glad that it happened because at the end of the day, you want the right people standing next to you and your partner on the day that you get married. I really, really value friendships, but I don't tolerate when people treat me like trash. It was just an eye-opener and it made me realize they weren't really my friends to begin with. So again, it all happened for the best because I want my true closest friends standing next to us on our wedding day. That's that. While I have my serum on, I'm going to go in with a jade roller and just kind of promote some circulation in my face. Oh, I realized I didn't answer the second part of this question earlier. So it was the same person, Fashion Loves Girl, who said, how stressful was it and how did you feel about not everyone getting to attend it? So I'll answer the second part. We're okay with not everyone being able to come to our wedding this Friday. We're getting legally married this Friday, and the only people attending will be our immediate family and our wedding party. We're getting married at a church, but not inside the church, outside of the church. So it's going to be outdoor, but at church. I don't know if that makes sense. Our priest is going to marry us. We're okay with not everyone being able to attend because we're going to have what's called the sequel wedding. So the sequel wedding is where everybody gets invited. That will be like the big celebration. So we feel okay about not everyone being able to attend, and we've already communicated with our extended family that it's okay because they're not missing out on anything. We're still going to celebrate. We're still going to have fun, have a party and all that. It just won't be happening at the same time that we get married, and that's okay. Next up, I'm going to moisturize, and this is the Krave Beauty Oh So Simple Water Cream. It's one of my favorite moisturizers. I like the texture and it just leaves my skin feeling really supple. Next question. How do you balance planning versus postponing when COVID is changing every day? We were on the CDC website, refreshing, just checking those guidelines every single day. I think at a certain point, I told myself, be ready to postpone. Months leading up to when I actually postponed, I was already telling myself, have a game plan for when it happens. And so I did. Right now, I'm actually a little worried because I just found out yesterday that they might start closing churches again. So I don't know if that is going to affect us this Friday. We are having it outdoor with our priests. It won't be inside. So I wonder if we're still able to have that. I am actually going to call our priest right after I finish this video and ask if everything is still okay. Can you imagine if our wedding gets canceled 48 hours before it happens and this whole wedding week series was for nothing? Knock on wood. I'm going to go in with an eye serum. This is the Dermalogica Biolumin C eye serum. Is it even worth it to have a wedding right now during pandemic? I guess this question depends on you and your partner. I think that if you and your partner just can't wait to start your lives together, then it's a great time to get married, pandemic or no pandemic. Kang and I have been engaged since 2018, so we didn't want to wait any longer to say I do. If you and your partner feel like you can wait a little longer, then I would say wait. But if not, I really recommend the path that we're going on, which is just get legally married and then celebrate later with everyone else. And it'll be worth it, and it'll be fun, and you can say you had more than one wedding. Do you need a judge to marry you, or do you choose someone to officiate? It's up to you. You can go to the court and have someone do it there, or you can have someone who is an officiant in the state of California or whatever state you're in. For us, we're having our priest marry us. How many people are you going to invite? I kind of brushed over this earlier. It's just going to be our immediate family and our wedding party, the people who feel comfortable coming, and it's going to be socially distanced and everyone is going to wear masks. For pictures, we're going to take photos, but everyone's going to be awkwardly spaced out. Now, hydrate my lips. The NARS Afterglow Lip Balm with SPF 10 sunscreen. This is in Clean Cut. Did you ever think that your wedding is going to be in such a crazy time? No, absolutely not. Obviously, no one anticipated this in their wedding plans or any plans in general. But I've been saying this is going to be a really great story to tell our kids one day, getting married during a pandemic. 2020, the craziest year ever. How did you not get discouraged? By the way, I love you. I love you too. I didn't get discouraged with planning because I knew it was going to work out. I knew either way we were going to get married. I knew wedding or not, we were going to be happy. So I'm pretty much done with my skincare routine. That's pretty much it. If you were doing this at night, I would recommend adding on a night cream as well. But since I'm doing this in the daytime, this is kind of like my AM routine. For the rest of the video, I'm just going to finish answering your questions. What are some positives about a Corona wedding? All that time that we had in quarantine, you really get to invest in your partner by investing time in them and really connecting with them. And also, quarantine helps you realize whether or not you're with the right person because you're with them 24/7. Any suggestions about how to plan with a short time frame? So if you're planning in a short time frame, my biggest advice is to start with your most important vendors. Find the venue, secure your place, your date, find your officiant, the person who's going to marry you, and then start going down that list. But start with the big stuff first, and then the details can be planned later or not at all. There are certain details in a wedding that you probably don't need. People just like to do it because it's their preference. Just plan out the things that you need first, not the things that you want. Has it been costing you more money for the wedding than planned? So luckily we pretty much finished planning a few months ago. Like, we just have some small details left. But our major vendors have already been planned and we've already budgeted for that. We didn't have to pay any extra costs for moving our wedding to next year, so our budget pretty much stayed the same. What's the best thing you did that you wouldn't have done if there was no pandemic? Probably our pre-wedding photo shoot that we did last weekend. Most of you guys know we already did a pre-wedding photo shoot in Canada, so there was really no need to do another one. But since we're getting married Friday while following the coronavirus guidelines of social distancing and wearing a mask, it's going to be kind of hard to take photos and document our actual wedding day because I'm probably not going to get glam, you know, if it's all going to be covered by a mask anyway, and we're not taking that many photos with people to begin with.
So basically, ở ngoài trời thì nó cũng dễ lắm. Everybody can just come as long as they have a proper distancing and mask. I sẽ hopefully he can sing for you a song. I will ask. He's a good singer.
That would be very special.
Okay, con.
Okay.
Yeah, thank you, con.
Thanks, Ko Kim.
Yeah, bye, con.
Alright, bye-bye. Whoa, so wedding's not getting canceled after all. Well, that's a relief. What was I talking about? The pre-wedding shoot. Okay. If you saw, I talked about it on my IG story and I said, honestly, if we can't have our wedding, I don't mind having more photo shoots. It's just more memories and more documentation of our journey, and I'm just really glad everything happened the way that it did, and I think this is our story and it wouldn't have happened any other way. One more question. How did your relationship with King change as the pandemic arose? It didn't change much initially because we had already been living together. I would say the one thing that changed for us a lot during this time was when he received his recent health diagnosis. If you guys aren't caught up with that too, we found out he has ankylosing spondylitis, which is an autoimmune disease. And so that really impacted our relationship, and I don't want to get too much into it because I do want to make a video about it, but finding out that you have an autoimmune disease during COVID-19 is scary. It's scary as hell, and it made me worry for him every single day. Every time I went to the grocery store, I was scared. You don't want to give into fear and paranoia, but at the same time, you can't really help it when the person you love has an autoimmune disease and you know that they are high risk. I would say that the pandemic didn't really change our relationship very much, but the health diagnosis really did. And again, I'm going to talk about that in a future video. So that is it. This concludes episode 2 of the Wedding Week series. This is my skincare routine and how I would prep my skin before makeup on my wedding day. If I was prepping my skin during the week, I would add in a night cream. I really hope you guys enjoyed this video and you're enjoying the series so far. And if you do, don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, subscribe, and hit the bell button to turn on post notifications so that you don't miss the next episode coming tomorrow. Stay tuned and I will see you guys then.